international participants, yeah? So I think from the chat box, I can see Ali Ahmad is says he can understand few words, but it's okay, Ali, because I think it's better we conduct our session in English, because normally we will defend our proposal in English, right? So there's English mod, okay? So as I said, you may call me Mugi, okay? You can call me Mugi, not necessarily call me doctor, okay? So just call me Mugi. And yeah, today I'm just going to share with you. It's not something like a very depth sharing about the proposal, okay? I'm just like sharing with you what happened to me during my proposal defense, okay? It was like 3 years back, okay? So it's quite a challenging process for me, okay? Even though it's like quite easy for others, but it's quite challenging for me. But before I start, I just want to know how many of you are going to already defended, and yeah, I just need to know, who are going to defend. Can I please put in your chat box, please? Proposal stage, okay. Muhammad Ali, okay. Hi Muhammad, can I call you Ali? Ali. Okay, proposal stage, okay. The rest, please, I give you going to PD, okay. Muhammad Ashraf going to PD, okay. I already defended. Azia Bakar, okay. Me next semester, master mixed mode, okay. Nazifa, okay. Oh, Zairi going to PD. Mira next month, all the best. Ira going to PD. Struggle for PD, okay. I understand. I can already defended, okay. Already defended. Struggle, okay. So I can see around the corner, already defended. Okay, my first semester, still proposal. Okay, so I can see most of you are targeting, are going to around the corner, okay, next month, okay. So basically some of you already defended. So I hope it could be, this session going to be helpful for you as well. Okay, Dick, could you please share the slide?
You want me to share for you, sister?
Yeah, please share to me. Yeah, please. Okay. Oh, you want me to share?
Yeah, sure. You can start to share, and I'm sure you will be more happy if you can control the slides on your own, right?
Okay.
But if you can't, then I will help you to share.
Okay. Okay, boleh nampak ke? Okay, can you see my slides?
Yeah, but I think you are sharing your screen, sister, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see my slides?
Yeah, sure, can see. Just to remind you, because you are sharing the screen,
okay.
And we might see your secret.
I have no any secrets. Okay, let me start. Okay, before I start, okay, what do you need in your proposal? Okay, PhD proposal is a very crucial, can we say it's very crucial, because it's kind of like you propose to your prospective supervisor. You're going to convince your reviewers. Okay, we don't know who your reviewers going to be. Okay, so it's kind of like, what you're going to do, with your research. That's what we call research proposal. Okay, so I will share about my journey before I start. Okay, this is like a case study lah, based on my life experience. Okay, doing my PhD. As I said previously, my PhD proposal is quite challenging because of what? It's because the moment I got an offer from Durham University, okay, I got a supervisor, after a lot of struggles, I managed to get placement at Durham University. And my title or the proposal which I sent to my supervisor, it's something about the international entrepreneurship. However, once I got accepted by supervisor Dr. Dylan, he's kind of interested with the outward foreign direct investment and the business group, which is something new for me. Okay, so I have to start back again, from the scratch to understand what is about the business group, does it exist in Malaysia? Okay, I have to do a lot of research to understand what is the business group. Okay, even though he gave me a lot of articles, okay, he gave me a lot of, website sources to read to understand what the business group, but still I struggle a lot to understand the business group. And again, the data analysis, okay, we are quite familiar with SPSS. We are quite familiar with the, most of time we are familiar with SPSS. But once I landed at Durham University, once I met Dr. Dylan, he's talked about agnometric. Okay, there's one funny incident happened to me. He asked me, Mugi, do you know about agnometric? And I'm quite confident. I said, yes, I know. I took micro and macroeconomics during my degree time. Then he was laughing. I say, why? Agnometry is not something about economic, Mugi. It's something like different from the economic. Go and read. He'll give me, I remember, I don't have the textbook over here. It's kind of like the tick like this. And then I have to read, understand what's the agnometric. So it's quite challenging for me because new topic, okay, I need to start from the scratch. And I don't know what to do, okay, because my background is not like a research because I did my master in coursework. It's like a mix from the theory, I took some subjects and then only for one semester I did my research. So it's quite challenging for me to understand about the research process and so on. Okay, so are you all of you with me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Don't make suspense, okay? I'm quite suspect, like when I don't hear any, it's quite challenging, doing these classes through online because we don't know how they respond. Okay, it's quite different when we are conducting through face-to-face. Okay, okay. So back to story. Okay, by worst, I'm ready for my proposal defense. Okay, so when I'm ready for proposal defense in Durham University, they call like a 9 months review. So after 9 months, it's compulsory for you to defend your proposal. Then only they are going to say whether you're eligible for PhD or not. So they are risky the 50-50%, whereby you may accept it as a PhD student, or you may withdraw from the PhD and you have to go for the MPhil, or you have to just withdraw from the study. You are not eligible to be a student part of the Durham University. Okay, so at that moment, I took it seriously, but not that serious. Okay, so something happened to me during the defense, which the reviewer said that I'm not eligible for PhD. Okay, so it's kind of like I'm stuck a moment where they said you have to go for the MPhil, and then once you've done your MPhil, then you have to come back for PhD if you want to. So at that moment, as I say, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do because I'm under scholarship by Malaysian government. And if I back to Malaysia, it's going to land me in the problem. Okay, so I'm kind of like, what should I do? What should I do? And then that's how, there's a few weaknesses in my proposal. The first thing is highlighted by the reviewer is the contribution, the novelty of the research. Okay, that's it's like a main issue, which is disturbing the reviewers, where they said my research is not convincing them. Therefore, I have to go for the MPhil and come back to convince them through the PhD. But thank God, I managed to discuss with the dean of the school. I discussed with the management over there. And I asked them to, I went through some appeal process, because I say, if I'm not eligible for PhD, it's okay, but still reviewer give me some points, some comments. So please give me time to highlight all those comments, and then I'm ready for another presentation. So my situation at that time, it's kind of either I'm pass or fail. If I'm fail, I can't continue even MPhil at Durham University. So I have to come back to Malaysia. If I'm passed, if I'm passed, I can go for the second year of my, they accepted me as a PhD student, then I can go for my second year. So it's very crucial. It's very stressful. Okay, they give me only 1 month to prove that, to convince them that I'm really eligible for their PhD study. So thank God, I managed to convince them. So the main thing which they look at the proposal is your contribution, your novelty, because you're doing PhD, even though you're doing master, they want to know what is new about your study, why you want to do your research, why you need this research, how it's going to contribute to that field. Especially when they ask me, okay, Mugi, you want to do this research, okay, what are the contributions to the international business? Okay, we have a lot of researchers. talking about international business, specifically on the outward foreign direct investment, emerging markets. Okay, but what your study is going to contribute. Okay, at that moment, seriously, I don't understand, okay, what they want to contribute. Okay, I already give that, there's lacking of studies in Malaysia, but they want to know more deeper what is the contribution. Okay, so, okay, so basically, what is the research proposal? Okay, so it's depend on the universities, depend on the department that you're affiliated. Okay, in UK, mostly when we send our research proposal, it's almost like 10 pages, 10 to 15 pages. Okay, you can be more than that, but most of time, even supervisors, even reviewers, they prefer compact proposal. Okay, they want very simple, but you highlighted few important points in that proposal. It means they accept your proposal, means you're able to convince the reviewer. There you go, you able to go for the next stage. Okay, so when during my time, they just ask 6,000 words, but these 6,000 words, it looks simple as, but it's not simple as it is. Okay, because you have to really to compress it to maximum to make sure they can understand. Okay, especially when you're doing at you're non-native speaker, your English is not good, so you have to struggle with this language as well. Okay, so proposal. Okay, I think in UUM, I think my brother, when he did his PhD, he did proposal for 80 pages, if not mistaken. I think for the literature review itself, he wrote about like 25 pages for the literature review. So it's overall like 80 pages, something like that. Okay, it's a requirement from the university. That's why I said it depends. The pages and the words depend on your universities and also your department. Okay, you have to refer to them. So you have to follow the requirements set by the okay, don't say like, after this, okay, no, I went to the Dr. Mugi's Banken, Samina, she told me we have to come with the 3,000. So don't make me the trouble. Okay, this is only this is based on my department at Durham University. Okay, so in research proposal, what I say is a simple yet structured, and it's like a very formal. Okay, formal means like it's like in an academic way. You have to address the issue in academic way. You just can't simply say it. Okay, there's a topic over here which I want to look into, but you don't give any justification why you need the subject. Why you need the research. Okay. So far, okay, girl? Are you okay, guys?
Okay.
Okay, if anything, just let me know, don't remain silent, okay? I don't know anything, okay? Unless you open your mouth, then only I know, okay?
Okay.
So, okay. So what is the what we call like essential or important in your proposal? Like if you want to make it cooking, you want to make some dishes, there's some essential things that we have to need to in the cooking, okay? Because you have salt, you have spices to make it more, to spice up the flavor, okay? So same goes to the proposal, okay? The first thing, I think most of us, okay, when we enter the PhD, PhD life, we'll come out the conclusion like, we want to do the bombastic topic. This is a big mistake that we used to do all the time, okay? I would say, okay, if you have the idea, okay, want to do a bombastic topic, you want to do something like, you want to receive the Nobel Prize, okay, I encourage you, but after your PhD, okay? When you're doing your PhD, just choose topic which is like, you can be done within 3 or 4 years, which is not going to be burden for you, which is easy for you to, to get the information, to get data on that research, okay? This is based on one of my friend. She struggled a lot because her research, a PhD research, where she need to, have to shift, change the supervisor, change the university because of her research, because she focused on the migrant issues at South Africa. So she's struggling a lot to get expertise to give data on her research. Okay, so that's why I say, okay, you may, okay, when you do a lot of readings, when you have, when you do a lot of readings, or maybe you are working with one industry, or you're working with firms, and you have some ideas you want to do the topic, but I would say that it's for the, for yourself, just choose the easier one, okay, so that you can finish within your 3 years or 4 years, you can get your PhD, you can get your doctor, and then you can do for your, you can do such researches for your grant, for your publications, okay, and so on, because our journey is not going to stop at PhD. Academician is like kind of this long journey until I think, until even we are 60, we are still going to do some, contribution towards our field, okay? So when it comes to the proposal, the first thing is the introduction, okay? The background of study. Even in the thesis itself, you have to talk about the background of the study. In the background of the study, I will explain more later on, okay? So in the background of study is kind of like, you are like attracting the readers, okay? The readers, you're attracting the readers to know about your research. Okay, what's the papers about? What is the proposal about? So let's say you are going to approach me, okay? I told you that my research interest is in outward foreign direct investment. Okay, let's say Ali from Pakistan. I don't know anything. Okay, maybe I heard something, few things about outward foreign direct investment in Pakistan, but I don't know more deeper about business group in Pakistan. Okay, I don't know anything, like, I'm lacking of knowledge on that particular issues. Therefore, Ali approached me. So he approached me through the proposal. He said, okay, in Pakistan, we're having a significant increment, increasing volume in outward foreign direct investment. The reason behind all of this, because of the business group in Pakistan. So what is the business group in Pakistan? So when I'm read the first background of the study, when I read that, so it's like attract me to know more. Okay, this guy, okay, Ali want to know, he want to like share with me about the outward foreign direct investment in Pakistan. So what is more interesting to know about the outward foreign direct investment in Pakistan? What is the interesting about business group in Pakistan? Okay, I'm referring business group here because I'm familiar with that business group. It's my research, so therefore I'm using that, because I'm worried if I'm using other terms, it's going to be wrong. Okay, so I'm comfort with my term, so I just say business group. Okay. So the second one is obviously it's a literature review, okay? Literature review, like, whenever you said, even though if you're nowadays, even in the undergraduates, even in master, in PhD, okay? We will see literature review is the heart of our research, okay? Why? Because we are going to review a lot of studies. From there, where we are going to know what is still lacking in that knowledge, what is still lacking in that field. Okay, so this is like, if you want to start your proposal, if you want to write down something on your the research topic, you must know what is going on in that field. Okay, so maybe 10 years back or 15 years back, the research already done, but still there's some few things that's not been addressed. That's going to be your research interest, and you're going to highlight in your research. Okay, therefore we have to read. So whenever you go, whenever you meet your supervisor, I can say that most of the supervisor will say, go and read articles, go and read the articles, go and review the articles. Because of what? From based on that, we can know there are certain, like, we call loopholes. Okay, there are loopholes. That's what we are going to call that knowledge gap. Okay, when I start my PhD, I don't know about research gap. Okay, in Malaysia, the calling is like a research gap. Once I'm at Durham, they said like a contribution. What is your novelty? What is your novelty? What is your novelty? And I was like, what is the research gap? What is the novelty? Okay, what I need to include it particularly in that section? What I need? Then whenever I go ask my supervisor, Dr. Dylan, he said he gave me like 20 articles, sometimes 25 articles, regarding business group, regarding outward foreign investment from different perspectives. They asked me to read. I say, how many times I have to read? Because I already understand the outward foreign investment, but what? They say, until you find out your contribution, until that you have to read. I want to know what is your contribution to, through your research. And I was like, Okay, fine. So, okay, this is what I got, maybe backfired during my proposal defense because I'm not able to answer what is my novelty of my research. Okay, and sorry for the typo. 1, 2, 3, it should be 4 and 5. I'm so sorry for the typo. So the fifth one is the methodology. Okay, proposal. In proposal itself, we are going to discuss first 3 chapters. Okay, generally we are going to talk about 3 chapters: introduction, literature review, methodology. Okay, so in introduction there comes like background of the study, problem statement. Okay, sometimes we highlight the research gap inside in the introduction. It means the background of study. Then we talk about the literature review, and then we talk about methodology. And again I'm stressing over here, it depends on your supervisor. Okay, we have so many supervisors, and then they have different approaches how to write the proposal. Okay, it's sometimes I got backfired with my supervisor when I follow the general structure of the proposal. He said this is not necessary because my supervisor he wants some things direct to the point. So he doesn't want me to do some more than 50 pages, you don't want to see pages more than 40 or 50. So he said direct to the point. We want to know what is the point. Pop, 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 pop. I remember the way he said, I want pop. Okay, what is your research? Pop. What is your methodology? Pop. What is your analysis? Pop. Done. That's it, your proposal. But sometimes we are like, we are in the first year. So we are kind of like very ambitious. We want to do this and that, this. And on the day you end up with your reviewer when you got backfired, and then you start to realize that, okay, I have nothing, I have zero knowledge. So I follow the supervisor. Okay. So this is like a main, I would say, main things that you have to think when you're going to do your proposal. And even after done your proposal, you finish your proposal, you have to look at the main things. Are you highlighting all those things in your proposal? Then you can say confidently that you have done a good proposal. And don't worry, there's no any perfect proposal. Sometimes you look at YouTube, how to write a perfect proposal, how to write an excellent proposal. There's nothing wrong with your proposal. The thing is, if you can justify why we need this study, you can convince your reviewers, you can convince your supervisor, you can convince your audience, that means you have done a good proposal. Doesn't matter, okay? If you highlight this main ingredients, it means your proposal is good. Is good. It means you can go further with your research. Okay, that's my opinion. Okay. Okay. So research topic. Okay. Okay. This is my research topic. Okay. This is my thesis. Okay, which I submitted. My last topic. I think I changed like 3 or 5 times my topic, because of what is not reflecting what I put in my content, because it's like a process, it's not like if you start at B, it's not going to be Z. Okay, so it sometimes can be E, sometimes it can be F, sometimes it can go to Z, and then sometimes you can back to the A. So it's kind of process which, like, you have to restructure until you're done your viva and you submitted your corrected thesis. Then only you can say, I'm done with my thesis. Till you're not finished your viva, there will, even in viva itself, you will get a lot of correction until you have to restructure again your thesis. Okay, sometimes you just think like, I've just worked for 3 years, 4 years, and suddenly the reviewer say, this is not necessary. This is not necessary. Okay, I remember I have to like take out one chapter which I think is necessary, but when it comes to the reviewer said, no, you don't need to put this, but you just put in a very simple paragraph. I was like, 10 pages in one paragraph. I was like, seriously, 10 pages in one paragraph, how am I going to write? But this is what need by the reviewer during the viva. So when I submitted my corrected thesis, that's what I did. But it's painful. It's painful because for the 10 pages, I worked like almost like 1 year to get the information about business group in Malaysia. But what to do when it comes to the reviewer? It's got changes. So when you're going to do your research proposal, please be open-minded. Okay, even when you're calling yourself as a PhD student, even you start to do your research, even your master, either your master or PhD, or even your undergraduates, okay, if you're going to do research, you have to be very open-minded because anything can happen at any time. Okay, so when it comes to the research topic, okay, specific and unambiguous. What is mean unambiguous? Means once people read your topic, they must be clear that this is what this person is going to discuss in the whole thesis. Okay, for example, my topic is about home country effects and strategic asset seeking, Malaysian MNEs experiences. It means I'm going to look at the Malaysian companies, and then I'm going to look the factors, home country effects. Okay, there's the factors, how it impacting the strategic asset seeking. Strategic asset seeking is a part of the outward foreign direct investment. So when the reviewer read, they can understand that, okay, Mugi is going to talk about this. Therefore, on the content of the thesis is going to talk all about what she mentioned in the topic. Okay, so you shouldn't put if let's say if I put like home country effect and outward foreign direct investment. Okay, as a reader, you might be confusing. What are the outward foreign investment? Okay, if you're from my international business field, okay, you might be see what the outward foreign investment. There are a lot of outward foreign investment. Okay, so what you're looking into. So that's why I say when you're going to write down your topic, it must be direct. So once people read that, they may understand. Okay, so and on this person is going to discuss this. So they will get ready with their mind. Okay, I'm ready to know about I'm ready to know, or I'm ready to learn some new knowledge regarding this topic. Okay, so you sometimes, like, as I said, this is kind of like I would say it's like curse for PhD students. We'll become so ambitious when we become PhD because we read a lot of things, we learn a lot of things, and then we got a lot of ideas, and then we start to want to do everything. Like, I don't know, but personally, I'm kind of like that. So that's why I say I got backfired during my proposal defense. Okay, so I got so many questions regarding my topics, regarding my hypothesis, how you're going to measure this, how you're going to run the data, how you're going to get the data, so many questions I received from the reviewers. So that's why I say when you're going to develop your topic, which is like a measurable and feasible. Okay, it means when you say I'm going to do this, okay, I'm going to do this, but okay, and I can get data on that, I can run an analysis on that through case study, through interview, okay, through narrative, through phenomenology, through through SPSS, through Stata, through PLSM, okay, so a lot. Okay, I can run data, I can get some input from the data to my research, which can contribute to the research. Okay, okay, guys, okay, are you okay?
Okay, Doctor. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So far, okay, yeah. Okay, so when it comes to the background of study, okay, what you need to include in your background of study. Sometimes, with the tendency to write everything, it's quite higher when we're talking about background of study. We want to include everything. But please remember, when you're talking about the background of study, definitely there will be like two different sections. One is introduction, and then you'll go for the background of study. In introduction, you'll talk about specific, okay, what is this research about? Okay, what is like, let's say in my introduction, I discuss about outward foreign direct investment, okay, how it's like impacting, in emerging markets, how emerging markets are using outward foreign direct investment to go to the international level. Okay, so I discuss it like a generally, and then when it comes to the background of study, there where I talk about Malaysia. Okay, so I start to talk about outward foreign direct investment in Malaysia. Okay, and then therefore, because I want to look at the strategic asset seeking, so I started to collect, data on strategic asset seeking done by Malaysian firms, and then I put as a justification there's some needed researchers to analyze about the strategic asset seeking. Okay, in my problem statement. Okay, therefore I put like, you know, I collect data from Malaysian Department of Statistics of Malaysia. Okay, we call DOSM. So I collected, you know, they call outbound investment. Okay, they didn't say outward foreign investment, they say outbound investment. So I collected. Okay, I see the, I know, I just put the graph like, you know, from year 1990 until 2016, 2017. Does it increasing? Or does it increase or decrease? Okay, and then I started to put in the business group. What is the business group in Malaysia? Okay, the interesting thing, the interesting matter about business group in Malaysia is like an ethnic business group where we have Malay business group and Chinese business group. Okay, so I describe everything, and then the problem statement. It's like can say if literature review is a heart, problem statement is your lungs. It's really important because it's going to help you to get a clear idea what you're going to discuss throughout your thesis, because the reason why you need the research, that's where you're going to discuss under problem statement. Okay, I think even most of the lecturers, academicians, you know, those who are doing workshops, you know, seminar, they will come up with this this one session where they just discuss about the problem statement. That's where you're going to discuss about your research gaps. That's where you're going to say why you're going to highlight issues that is happening in your research, okay, happening in your field. So the problem statement is very important. So in my problem statement, then only I found out that lacking of, you can see like most of the articles, they say lacking of researchers, lacking of articles, okay, lacking of focus on certain issues. That's what we call problem statement. Therefore, you call to do this research because you want to fill the breach, the loopholes in that field, okay, the particular about the business group and its activities in Malaysian market, okay, for example, okay. So that's in background of study, okay. In background of study, when people read your background of study, they must know that, okay, this person, okay, what we call that, we call what, Nabiha or Naziha tadi kita, we got this friend Naziha, okay, Naziha say she want to do this research. Let's say she want to do research on unemployment during the COVID-19, okay. So while reading the background of study, the reader, the supervisor, the reviewers, okay, they know that, okay, there's an issue in Malaysia, the kind of like a skyrocketing unemployment in Malaysia due to the pandemic. Therefore, before this, a lot of studies highlighted about the factors lack of interest, you know, there's a factors like impacting the unemployment. However, recent years, recent in 2 years, pandemics becomes another factor for the unemployment. Okay, therefore the study is going to analyze about the how this pandemic impacting the unemployment cases in Malaysia. So it's an example, okay? It's an example. So while reading the background of study, I know that this is the problems happening in the field, issues that you highlighted in the field, and then you are going to do the research to identify that gap by the issue. Okay? Now, when it comes to research question, okay, I just want to ask you, okay, we have like 4 types of research questions here. Based on your understanding, those who are already defended or you're going to defend, okay, based on your understanding, which you think is like a very good research questions? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Okay, number 3, Ida. Okay, guys, please. 2, Azia 2. Come on, guys. Let me take like 2-3 minutes, okay? Which you think is really clear research questions? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hanin. 2. Dharmani 2. Marwahab 4. Oh, we have like 54, right? 56. Okay. Okay, we give like more like meetings like more answer like 3-4 persons, please. Okay, 4, 3, 2. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, thank you, okay. Just want to test whether you are with me or not, because we are in the middle of like 3:40, right? So even I can see like it's quite blur for me because I'm the time is like that 3:40 p.m. So we're quite sleepy at this moment. So I just want to make you fresh, okay? Because even I want to get myself fresh, okay? Okay, Ben, okay. 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 So some of you answer 1, some of you answer 2, some of you answer 3, some of you answer 4. Okay, the right answer is 2 and 4. Okay, 2 and 4. Why? Okay. Look at the first research question. What effect does social media have on people's mind? Don't you think this is quite general? Okay, when you're going to write this kind of research question, how are you going to measure? People's going to be, people could be like, from maybe young people, old people, or maybe teenager, or maybe middle-aged people. Okay, so how are you going to measure? So it's going to be a lot, right? If you're going to, if you're going to measure these people. That's why I say number 1 is it's unclear, okay? It's quite broad, okay? When it comes to the research question, just a moment. Okay, when it comes to the research question, it should be clear, okay? So when people read it, okay, just always put yourself as a reader, okay? Once you're done, okay, this is the tips for you, when you are writing your research, you're writing your article or whatever it is, like, when you're starting to write, once you're done with that writing, put yourself as a reader, or ask your friends, ask your your friends or your relative, someone like, ask them to read, okay? Ask them to read. So if they can understand what you're trying to deliver in your paper, it means you have articulate a very good content of that paper. Okay, let's say if I'm doing my, I always like when I write down a paper or any conference paper or any research paper, I'll give to my cousin, I'll give to my brother, because they're out of my field. So when they can understand what I'm trying to say, what I'm going to explain in my paper, if they can understand, they can, explain back to me, it means I have write a very good paper. Okay, that's how I evaluate myself. Okay, so here, the number 1, as I said, when you talk about people, as I say, it could be young people, it could be old people, it could be teenagers, it could be middle-aged people. Okay, people can be consist a lot. But when you look at the second research question, what effect does daily use of Twitter have on the attention span of under 16s? Does it clear? This is what you want to look. Okay, your target, your respondent is going to be students or people or under 16s. Okay, so what you're going to look at, you're going to look at attention span. Okay, through what? Through Twitter. Okay, does it clear? Okay, when you read, like, just compare the first one and second one. Okay, when you read it, like, what the social media could be Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, Skype, all of the social media. Okay, but when it comes to the second research question, specifically, what we call specifically, and also clear and direct to point through the Twitter, I want to know how these people under 16s, they're affecting their attention span. Okay, so when you're writing your research, when you're going through your literature review is going to be surrounded by this. Okay, so you're not going to read all the articles. Okay, you're not going to read all the articles which talking about social media. You're going to look at the attention span, how it impact. Okay, so your literature review going to be generally about the attention span. Then you're going to narrow down, like, you know, how it impacting the people, how it's going to impact in the 16 years old teenagers. Okay, so that's the purpose of research question. Research question is kind of your guidance. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Based on that, I'm going to write down my proposal, my thesis. Okay, that's why people keep on saying that sometimes your research question can be it's like interchangeable because of the literature. Okay, maybe in literature, you know, once you read and read, you say, oh, no, I don't want to see attention span. I want to look at them, their mental health. Okay, this is something is still lacking of. Then you come and you change your research questions. Again, I said, as I said, you have to be open-minded. This is not going to be you're not going to stick from, you know, from the first day until the day you're going to finish your thesis. Okay, it could be changed at any moment. Okay, so when we back to the, sorry, I'm digress for something else. Okay, so when we come to this question, okay, can you see the the second is quite clear and direct to point, and it's like leading you which or what you need to do. Okay, and again, number 3. Okay, when we talk about number 3, okay, how did Irish women perceive and relate to the British women's suffrage movement? Okay, and number 4, what factors lead the women gaining the right to vote in the UK in 1918? I'm so sorry, I said the right answer is 2 and 3, not 2 and 4, 2 and 3. Okay, can you see in particular in number 3, they want to know about the British women, specifically the Irish women, how they perceive and how they, you know, they contribute to the movement. Okay, so this is going to be the person's, you know, guidance to do the research. Okay, based on that, he or she, they're going to do readings based on this. Okay, that's how your research question should be. Okay, you may say, like, you know, what factors? There could be a lot of factors. Okay, what factors that you want to look at? Okay, what factors? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Sapa, who did that? Thank you very much. Okay, so what factors? Okay, what factors too general. So when you want to look at specific things, when it comes to my study, I want to look at business group and the role of government. How it impact the strategic asset seeking. Simple as that. So my thesis, the whole thesis is just run based on that question. Okay, my thesis just keep on talking about the business group, role of government, business group, role of government, business group, role of government, strategic asset seeking. You know, it just keep on like until and one day, you know, when I'm talking to my friends, I started to talk about the business group, role of government, strategic asset seeking, until they say, Mugi, can you stop for a moment, because we don't want to listen to your research, because you keep on saying the same thing. Because, you know, the process like that, you know, I have to do, you know, whenever I'm writing down my paper, whenever I'm going to any conference, whenever I'm writing down my thesis, it's always about the business group, role of government, strategic asset seeking. Business group, role of government, strategic asset seeking. So that's my research question. Okay, how business group impacting strategic asset seeking. Okay, how role of government impacting strategic asset seeking. Okay, how business group and role of government impacting strategic seeking. Okay, that's my research question. Okay, so when you read my thesis, when you read my thesis, my proposal, I just discuss about business group. Okay, generally what is the business group? Then I narrow down to Malaysia. What is the government, role of government, what they did, and then I roll down to the, narrow down to the in Malaysia. Okay, it's kind of like you know, inverted pyramid. My literature is kind of like inverted pyramid. I think when you go for the literature review, like Prof. Razamin this morning, I think you may get more better idea about literature review. There's a lot of type of literature review. Okay, so the main thing here, when you're writing your research question, it should be direct. When people read it, they must know that, okay, this is the thing, or the main thing they're going to look. Okay, and the most thing is, again and again, can you measure that? Okay, can you measure that? Okay, I remember I put government policies at the first time. First time when I wrote down my my proposal, it's got highlighted by one of the reviewer, Chris, Prof. Chris. I remember the reviewer. He said, "You're going to measure policies. Do you know how many policies that you have? Are you going to? It could be million. It could be 100. It could be 1,000. Are you going to measure all of that? So don't put policies. Put government or something else. You must know the role of government. And then the question over there: how are you going to look at the role of government? That's what you have to do the readings. So those firms who are having affiliated with the government officers, government staff, it means they have a direct connection with the government. That's how we are going to look at the role of government. So that's my justification in my methodology. Do you get it? So means I can measure the role of government. Okay. So if you think, or if you base, not you think, in PhD, it's not nothing like you think, you must justify based on the previous study, based on the prior studies, whether it can measure or not. Okay, attention span, it can be measured. Under 16, you can get it the data from the national, national database. Okay, so but when it comes to the people's mind, how are you going to read people's mind? How are you going to read people's mind? Is it measurable? Do you think it can be done in within 3-4 years? Even for 10 years, you can't read people's mind. That's the one major issue right now. We can't read people's mind. If we can read people's mind, I think it could be pleasure for us because we can read people's mind right now. Okay, maybe I can read Dr. Aslinda's mind. Okay, Dr. Aslinda can read my mind. Okay, maybe I can read Ali's mind. Maybe I can read, I saw like Dawamani here, Dawamani's mind. Okay, so you have to very specific. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to see in my research. I have the justification. This is how I'm going to measure it. Then you are safe. But if you put something that can't be unmeasurable, some immeasurable, measurable in your research, then reviewer is going to ask you, how are you going to measure that? How are you going to measure it? Okay, if you can get the data, how are you going to run the data? Are you going to be using logistic regression? Are you going to look for correlation? Are you going to look through the, what we call, step 2 step, okay? Are you going to look at hierarchical regression? How are you going to look at that? You explain, could you please tell us how you're going to run, how you're going to give us the input? That's the moment where you will think, oh, I should check my research question before I come to the reviewers, okay? Because research question is something like, as I said, yeah, once people got to know about the background of study, they'll move to your research question, okay? So research questions and research objective is kind of interrelated, okay? What you're going to look at the research questions, that what you're going to look at research objective, okay? It means like a sentence, okay? Here, example, what effect does daily use of Twitter have on the attention span of under 16s? Your objective could be to examine or to explore, okay? To explore attention span of under 16s by using Twitter daily. That's going to be objective, okay? From the question, it becomes a sentence, okay? That's why I didn't put separate slide for the objective, okay? So guys, are you clear? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes. I love that. Yes. Such a confident. Okay. Only one. How about the rest? Yes. 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 Ali. Okay. Okay. I'm happy. If you understand that, I'm happy. You're clear with that, I'm happy. Okay. You success, I'm happy. Okay. So okay. The first thing, if you're doing, okay, when you're doing PhD, when you're doing master, okay, some of you will choose doing quantitative. Some of you will do qualitative, which I'll explain in the methodology, okay? Why I put hypothesis here? Because like, again, this is based on my experience. You might be like, better than me, but I'm just sharing my experience, okay? Okay, when I did my hypothesis, I don't know about the null hypothesis. When my supervisor questioned me, what is your null hypothesis? I was like, sorry, what is that null hypothesis? So I have to go again. As I said, I don't have research background. So, it looked like, it looked like a simple thing, but, during my 3 years, for my 3 years back, I don't know about the hypothesis. Like, I'm just like a straight away, it's a hypothesis. But, once you get into the PhD, then only like, you understand about the importance of the hypothesis. Hypothesis kind of same, like, it's not same. This is question is something like, you get a roof, okay? And then you go for the hypothesis. Hypothesis mostly for the, we do have for qualitative, we do have for quantitative. I won't touch that today because I'm not, I'm not prepared for that. But I just want to tell you, if you're writing down your hypothesis, your hypothesis should reflecting what you're going to test, what relation that you're going to test, okay? For example, okay, comes again to my research, I want to test business group and strategy access seeking. There's a two variable which I want to look at, okay? Strategy access seeking is a dependent variable, meanwhile business group is independent variable, okay? So I'm going to see if firms affiliated with business group, they are more likely doing strategy access seeking. Okay. If the firm is not affiliated with business group, they are less likely to do strategy access seeking. Example, okay. So I'm going to test that, okay. In the in my chapter 4, when I'm going to run my data, I'm going to test that. So that's what I say here, relevant variables. Okay, relevant variables. Means I'm very clear. I'm very clear with my research that I want to know about business group and the role of government. How do this both variable impacting the advert foreign investment specifically in strategy access seeking? Okay, I got my data. I already got data which company is doing strategy access seeking through the from the database. I already know business group in Malaysia, how the structure of business group. I already get the data as well from the database. So I'm very confident. This is the variable which I'm going to look at. Okay, some of you may have 5 variables. Some of you may have 8 variables. It depends on your studies. And also, again, your supervisor. Maybe your supervisor want you to look at the 8 variables. Maybe your supervisor want to look at 3 variables, specifically 3 variables. In my case, my supervisor and myself, we want to look only 2 specific variables, business group and the role of government. There's no such thing other than thing that we want to look at. Okay, there's a lot of like organizational slack, we don't want to look at that. Even we don't want to look at as a control variables. This is the main variable which I want to look and its impact on the strategy access seeking. I'm very clear with that. Okay, so the specific group being studied, okay, on what? On Malaysian MNE. Okay, my respondents are from Malaysian companies, okay, multinational companies, only Malaysian companies. Okay, so when I ran my data, when I find information about the firms in database, we call OBIS. It's not available in Malaysia. It's just available at Durham, and most of European universities they subscribe to that database. Okay, I remember when I find out Malaysian companies, it almost like 20,000 firms. Okay, 20,000 firms. It took me like 2 weeks. Okay, because I have to show to my supervisor. My supervisor just give me 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks. I have to come out with the firms which is owned by Malaysian only. Okay, sometimes we say like Sendirian Berhad is owned by Malaysia, but sometimes the company the company sometimes belong to Chinese in China, but they put Sendirian Berhad is not Malaysian owned. Okay, so I have to analyze that. So end of the day, out of the 20,000 firms, only 945. Could you like imagine? I was like looking at one by one. 945 firms is only belongs to Malaysian, and rest are kind of like, you know, we call OEM, original equipment manufacturer. They are originally from some other country, but they open their firms at Malaysia. So they put Sdn Bhd at behind. So I learned of new things there. So if the firm is have to say Sdn Bhd, it doesn't mean it belongs to Malaysia. You have to look at the ownership. Okay. So the specific group here, what I want to look at is the Malaysian firms. Okay. So when people look at the hypothesis, okay, they know that, okay, they are going to, okay, this person is going to look at this variable, its impact on this, so on, and this, they are going to analyze, or you're going to do research on the specific group, like Malaysian companies, Pakistani companies, okay, or maybe like, students, lecturers, okay, there's a group that you're going to look as a respondent, okay, and from the hypothesis, we can predict the outcome, okay, as I said, when firms, they're affiliated with the business group, they more likely do strategy asset seeking. Okay, that's what I justify in my literature review, where I said business group, they have certain advantages where they're able to make it to go for the strategy asset seeking. Okay, the null hypothesis is, it's if the firm affiliated with the business group, they are less likely to go for the strategy asset seeking. So these two hypotheses which I'm going to prove through my data analysis. Okay. Okay, guys, do you need 5 minutes? Do you want to take 5?
No, ma, we want you to continue.
Oh, you want to continue? Is it Ali? Okay. Everyone to continue, eh? If you need 5, just let know Dr. Aslinda or Dr. Asma, okay? Just let them know you need 5 minutes, okay? Because I can understand we can't sit for a long time, okay? Okay. So when it comes to the hypothesis, you're going to predict. It could be not, okay? And you're going to prove it by run the data, okay? It could be like, you run the data means you could like going to prove through the regression, going to prove the relationship through the correlation. You say the significant, people are like crazy about the significant. My result is not significant. When the result is not significant, everything become like a dark for them. My friends, I remember, we are like four of us, okay, 4 of us. We are kind of like nervous, okay, because when we run the data, we get not significant, okay, we got negative, and then the p-value is very low, it's very low, and then sorry, very high, and then I was like, hey, it's not significant, it's not significant, and then my supervisor say, if it's not significant, it means your finding, you have to justify it, that is your research, okay, why you so bothered too much about not significant, okay, so don't worry about that, okay, don't worry about the result, okay, either it's a significant, not significant, the main thing you have to remember, justification, okay, if you found, let's say, okay, in literature, okay, back to my research, I found that, okay, business group, in the literature they say business group have advantage, okay, they can make their own money, they have a lot of information about the other foreign countries, that's why they able to fight with the domestic companies, and then they can make success while at the international level, okay, that's why when firms affiliated with them become friend with them, so they can survive at international. This is what they say in the literature review. But when it comes to Malaysian context, doesn't matter they're affiliated or not affiliated, it doesn't matter for them. They're still doing, if they need to do that, they will go for the strategy asset seeking. If they not need technology, if they don't need new brand or something, they just stick whatever they want. This is what I found in my study. So that is my contribution. It means everyone keep on saying business group is like kind of giving significant changes, significant impact on the outward foreign direct movement, specifically in strategy asset seeking. But in my study, I found out in Malaysian context, business group doesn't play any role. Okay, that's my what we call my contributions of my research. It means in Malaysia, we don't bother about business group, whether you're affiliated or not. If I want, I will go for international. If not, I'm going to just go stay at my domestic market. That's what I found, okay? So that's why I said the hypothesis, like, That's why I said from the research question, is beginning of the research question, when you're going to look at the variable, it must be measurable because you're going to look at through the hypothesis, whether you're going to prove the hypothesis true or not. You got it? Okay, so here, some example, okay? Some example, research question, hypothesis, okay? Can you see here? The research question is kind of clear here, okay? They said health benefits when you eat apple, okay? The hypothesis here, increasing apple consumption in over 60 will result in decreasing frequency of doctor's visit. It means if you eat apple, your frequency to meet doctors is going to low, okay? But here in null hypothesis, they say there's no effect. In null hypothesis, kind of like, you know, you're saying like, you know, there's no effect, it's negative relationship, okay? But in the, you know, when you're writing, oh, sorry, I'm not good in using this. Is it something like this? Ah, okay. Okay, so when it's null, it's going to be HO. Okay, then it will be H1. Same goes HO, H2. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. So the H4 is kind of like, you know, you're predicting there's no effect at all. There's nothing lah. There's nothing. Even though you're eating apple or not, you're going to meet doctor. Okay, there's no any effect. It's up to you whether you're going to, if you exercise, then only you're going to, you're decreasing the frequency of visit. But if you eat apple, no effect at all. That's how. But another hypothesis, you're saying that, okay, if you eat apple every day, please understand, please, you know, bear with me. Apple every day, okay, no doctor. No. It's a less visit to doctor. Okay. So in your research, you're going to look at these two hypotheses. Okay. You're going to gather the information. You're going to gather the data, all of the data regarding about this, and then you run the data. Then you find out it's true that when you eat apple from the respondent, you go and ask your respondents, and then respondents say, yes, if I eat apple, I didn't go to the doctor. You know, it's very rare for me to visit doctor. Okay, and then you come back again to the data analysis. Once you're done with the data analysis, you come to the result, right? You have to write down your result. There where you are going to talk about, I accepted H1, rejected null hypothesis, where we call HO. Can you understand, guys? Can you?
Yes, Doc. We are with you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this why, like, you know, null hypothesis, okay, which I think is important for you, for those especially who are going to do the quantitative, you must know about this null hypothesis, okay? So this is the hypothesis, okay? So you have to remember again and again, okay? From the beginning of the session, I will keep on saying, you have to justify. The most important, your research, it can be measurable. Your variable can be measurable. Okay, remember that. Okay, because it's interrelated from RQ, this is question, to RO, this is objective, then we're going to look at the hypothesis. Okay, if even in qualitative, we are going to have hypothesis because we are going to know about the nature of the cases. Okay. Okay, I will come to the methodology. Okay, so this is like a very important. Okay, so from the problem statement, that's how you come with the RQ. From RQ, you go to the RO. From the RO, you go for the hypothesis. That's how you're going to prove my research is valid. Okay, I found some evidence. Okay, so we accepted the hypothesis which we mentioned in chapter 1. Okay, you got it? Okay, guys.
Yes.
Okay, when it comes to literature review, I have no comments. Only read, 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 read until you're done your Viva. Until even after your Viva, you have to read, 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 because there's a lot of studies, a lot of researchers coming, you know, in sometimes in year, you can see some new paper, like almost like 10 papers, 10 to, 10 papers, you have to keep yourself updated with the current studies. It's really important. Okay, when you're writing the literature review, some of studies, yeah, it could be in 1930s, 1940s. Okay, because if you think you have to include that, you have to include. But remember, when you're going to send your proposal, when you're going to send your thesis for the Viva, okay, I add some little bit about the Viva as well. You must know that you have the latest literature in your literature review. Let's say when I submitted my thesis in 2019, I think my studies were up to 2018. Okay, so 2019, I didn't include anything, but still reviewer asked me to find out, are there any latest study regarding to my research in 2019? So I have to include that. So when you have the latest one, it shows that you are updating your research time by time. Okay, so when reviewers say, okay, let's say, what we have, who we have, let's say, I see, we have Harisha. Okay, Harisha going to submit her, let's say, going to submit her proposal, and then she write down her literature review, okay, in 2021. Okay, so her research proposal, at least, okay, we are going to be end of 2021. Okay, so at least the first quarter of 2021, okay, we say until June, there may be some like 2 studies or 3 researchers have been done in her field. She have to mention that. So when reviewer look at that, they say, okay, this girl really serious about the research. She knows what is going on in the field, and she got the latest update, the latest research. Okay, so that's why I say, PhD is something, it's not something is going to start and end at one point. It's like keep on, it's like a process, you have to read. And then at one point you feel like, as I said, every time when I meet my friend, I start to talk about business group. Guys, about the business group in Malaysia, this is until they can memorize about my research, because I keep on talking to them about my business group. Okay, so you have to read. Okay, when it comes to the write down, okay, I would say, like, I would say after you read, you must have some guide how to write down, because literature review, as I said, is the heart of your thesis. So I would advise you go for some workshops. Okay, go learn from the experts. Okay, how to write down your literature review. Okay, so it's really important, because end of the day during the Viva, okay, end of the day during your Viva, they're going to question a lot of your readings. They're going to test your understanding about your research. Okay, if you stuck at that moment, it means you are in a danger zone. Okay, if you can't talk about your research after 3 years, 4 years, okay, it means, like, you can't discuss with them about the what we call, like, the most important authors or most important scholars about your field. It means you're in the danger zone. You must know, okay, the moment they ask you why you're doing this research, okay, who are the most prominent scholars in your field, how do their studies help you to do your research, you must know who are the scholars. That's why you have to read and read and read. Okay, sometimes people say you have to read 30 articles. Some people will say you have to read 60 articles. Some people say you have to read 100 articles. Okay, don't get, like, don't get mixed up with all those things. Okay, you must know what is your research about, and then you must know what you need to know and what you need to highlight in your research. Okay, another, it's your decision. and again your supervisor. Okay, we can't forget our supervisor until our Viva. Okay, they are like our guide and like our guide until our end of our Viva. Okay, so they will say, you know, the most like prominent scholars you have to know. So how? You have to read. There's no other option. Like, you know, you know, if like some people ask how to know about research without reading, I say it's impossible. You have to read. Sometimes it takes times, like, you know, even 1 year. One of my friends, she did her PhD in anthropology. Every time when she met, you know, she met her supervisor, there's a meeting with her supervisor, she always review like almost like 5 articles, 8 articles, you know, she have to review and present in front of her supervisor. Because of what? Every week, you remember, you just can imagine, like every week, 8 to 10 articles she have to review and have to present to the supervisor. So we are saying, why, you know, as normal, again, we are the first year, we don't know. And they say, why you supervisor want to know reviews? That then only after 2 years, we realize the importance of reading the articles, because it's helped us to know about our field. Okay, so there's a literacy. I'm not going to touch so many things, you know, I don't going to touch so many things about the literature review, because it's better for us to hear from the expert. Okay, say now we come to the methodology. Okay, methodology is kind of like a name. Okay, like we already have recipe in our mind. Okay, today I'm going to make pizza. Okay, let's say vegetarian pizza. Okay, I have my cheese, I have my tomato, I have my mushrooms, I have, okay, all the ingredients. But how I'm going to cook that? Whether I'm going to bake through the oven, or I'm going to using some other extra, like some sophisticated technology to, you know, to cook that. That's the methodology. That's where you're going to discuss whether you're going to use quantitative or qualitative. Okay, so when it comes to the quantitative, as I say, you're going to test something. Okay, the hypothesis, or you want to test the theory, whether the theory which is like built by the previous scholars, it could be tested. Okay, in my case, I'm going to see, there's like when I'm doing my research, I found out there are 2 different branches about the theory. Okay, the first group, they were like saying, they were like, you know, they're like stressing, we still can use the current theories, even though it's based on the Western multinational companies, but we still can use it for the merging companies. There's no any differences. But the second branches, you know, second branches of scholars, they keep on debating, say no, merging markets like Brazil, China, Russia, India, even Malaysia, they are not similar to the Western companies. They are something different, and they need to be researched, and they are not using the theory which is proposed by the previous scholars from the Western fields. Okay, like you know, I those who are from management, they must be familiar with the Uppsala model. Okay, investment development part. Okay, those are like developed based on the Western companies. Okay, and then the new scholars merge, where they say, they're like, you know, China, they say China is not doing a same process which is explained by the Uppsala model. They are doing some very rapid merger and acquisition. That's why they can become number 1. That's the reason why China become number 1 compared to the US. Okay, so when it comes to the two different opinions. Okay, 2 different arguments. Okay, you want to test whether this group A, you know, scholars from Western, they say you can still use that theory. Okay, you can still, there's nothing, you know, whether you're from emerging markets, you're from Western companies, this doesn't matter, you still can use the theory. But another group B, say no, there's something new about this the merging companies, so we are going to see. So we come up with a few theories. So I'm going to test the theory. I'm going to test the hypothesis. Okay, whether the relationship that I say, business group and the role of government, do they really have impact on the strategy execution? And then I found out, doesn't matter whether they have, you know, they're affiliated with the business group or not, they're still doing their work. Okay, it didn't impact them anything. Okay, that's what I found out. Okay, so when it comes to the methodology and when it comes to the methodology, as I said, you're going to use the quantitative, and then some going to use the qualitative. That's where you're going to talk about the grounded theory. You're going to use phenomenology. Okay, you're going to narrative. You're going to use content analysis. When you read Creswell, okay, there's one textbook is Creswell. Okay, Creswell. He explained well about the qualitative and quantitative. Okay, what is the quantitative? What is the qualitative? Okay, later on I will share some sources for you to make as a reference. Okay, which I use it during my PhD. Okay, so when it comes to my research, again I stuck during my first year because I want to do quantitative. But when it comes to the reviewer, they want me to do case study. And I'm like, case study. So, but I justify, no, I want to look at the quantitative. But my reviewers, they not convinced. They say, okay, you're talking about the business group. We can understand your business group descriptively. Okay, you're saying that you have business group in Malaysia, but what is the business group in Malaysia? We want to know that. So in order to know that, you do have to do some case study so that we can know what is exactly about the business group and how do they facilitating the strategy as seeking. So again, I cried, I cried to my parents when I'm back to home because I said, I want to finish my thesis with the quantitative. I don't want to go to the qualitative because I already fixed my mind. That's why I said, you have to keep your mind open-minded. Okay, sometimes in review, sometimes when you go to the proper research proposal, means proposal defense, you may get a lot of comments. Some of comments it cannot be accepted, but some of comments it will change your research. Okay, sometimes your supervisor will agree with them. Okay, so it's depend. Okay, so that's why I say it's interchangeable. Okay, it could happen. It could be happening anything at that time. Okay. So, during the first time, when I heard that from my reviewers, especially that Prof. Chris, because his background is from case study. So, as usual, he want me to do the case study and especially they want to know about Malaysia. So, I say, okay, I'll discuss with my supervisor. And when I discuss with my supervisor encouraged me to do the case study. And I cried because of what? Because I don't know how to find the firms. I don't know how to whom should I go, to whom should I interview to get the information, okay? I get my data in my database, okay? I able to get the data on a database, okay? But when it comes to the interview, I need to meet managers, I need to meet some top management, how I'm going to, penetrate into the firms, okay? That's how, that's when your network, plays your roles, okay? I told my senior and my senior told her husband and husband helped me to get some people to get interview. That's why we call snowballing, snowballing approach, okay? So I have to mention that. In methodology, there's a lot like snowballing, sampling, purposive sampling, okay? So you have to think all of that, which sampling that you're going to look at. Oh, we're going to have another from, okay? So sampling, okay? So in methodology, I didn't touch much, okay? But I would say in methodology, you have to be very specific, okay? Again and again, you may ask why this, why Mugi keep on asking specific, okay? In PhD, in research specifically, you have to be very clear, direct to point, and you have to, how to say, it's like, it's very clear, okay? It's very clear, and you can justify why you're doing the research, okay? So when people are reading your research, they say, okay, these people are going to talk, because we don't have much time to read all the, all the paper. Honestly, like Dr. Aslinda must have experience reading students' assignments, researchers, okay? Even when I'm looking at the assignments, I'm not going to look everything. I'm just like looking at the introduction, what they are going to, they answer the question, and then I'm going to look the way of they articulate the content, and then I just give marks based on that. I didn't see how many pages they do, how many words. The thing is, if it's required by the department, of course I follow that. But if it comes to myself, I'm not looking at the words, I'm looking at the quality. Okay, so in methodology, make sure that, you know, if you're going to use quantitative, you have to justify why you want to use that quantitative. Okay, if you want to use the qualitative, okay, the reason why I want to use the qualitative, you have to get justified. Okay, in previous study, like they use quantitative, but they overlook certain issues in that studies. Therefore, by using qualitative in nature, it's going to explore more depth. Okay, it's going to give more clear, or it's going to give more it's going to give more depth information about the related issue. Okay, it's a kind of justification they're going to give. Okay, when it comes to my research, again, okay, in my methodology, I got my I give some contribution to the methodology, because initially people are using official statistics, okay, from the Department of Statistics. Okay, most of studies in Malaysia, they're using outward foreign direct investment, specifically the strategic asset seeking. They're using data from the department, okay, which is like a release published by the department. However, it has some drawbacks, which is like, you know, I'm citing studies done by this one scholar, a researcher we call Lu and Tang. In 2015, they say there's some have drawbacks, okay, by using the official statistics. Therefore, I'm going to use Orbis to get my data, and then because of what, there's this one study done by the I forgot the name. I forget the scholar's name. It's from Europe. Okay, this guy in 2016, they found out data from the Orbis database, it's valid, and then can give a more clear activities. Okay, so it's not ignoring the we call round tripping investment. Okay, it's like a term in round tripping means round tripping investment. Okay, I just want to share that round tripping investment is interesting. Okay, when we read about the outward foreign investment, it's not only going out from the country, but it's coming back to the country, but in a different way. Okay, it's like from tax haven, it's come back to our country. It's not like investment, but it's kind of like it could be money laundering, something like that. Okay, so when we look at the official statistic, it's not explaining about the round tripping investment, but when we go for the Orbis database, we can get that company, which company investing back, you know, which company is investing outward foreign investment, and we can know, we can eliminate, we can remove those company who are having investment at tax haven. So those who are having investment at tax haven, it's not investment. It's kind of like money laundering, or maybe they want to invest something else. Okay, so that's my justification in my methodology. Okay, so when it comes to the methodology, again, you can justify why I want to use quantitative, why I want to use qualitative, or if you're using both, means we call mixed method, you have much more, you know, you must have some justification, as I said. Okay, the reason why I'm using this quantitative, this, and the reason why I'm using case study, because I want to explore about business group in Malaysia. So, and at one chapter, I just wrote down everything about business group in Malaysia, how Malaysian Malay business group functioning, how Chinese business group functioning. Okay, what are the structure of Malay business group? What are the structure of Chinese business group? Okay, and even I got questioned by the reviewer. They said, are there any Indian business group? I say, I don't. I say we have some entrepreneur in Malaysia, Indian entrepreneur, but however, it's not as big compared to the Malay and Chinese. But the Malay and Chinese is a very prominent business group in Malaysia. They play its rules. So I give the evidence. Okay, I took some top companies in Malaysia, which belongs like, you know, top companies, top 25, not mistaken. I list down, okay, this belongs to the Malay, this belongs to Chinese. So they are like a biggest business group in Malaysia. That's why I'm going to analyze, I'm going to explore about them. That's my justification in my methodology. So my contribution there to the new knowledge, when I'm writing down my paper, right now I'm like writing down my paper to the Emerald. So my contribution, my novelty is, I found out business group in Malaysia, because when you look at the articles or researches in a business group, most of them talk about the China. Okay, we call national team. They call term as national team. Okay, they talk about India. In even India, we call like, you must be familiar with the Tata motto. Okay, Tata motto. Okay, this is the biggest business group. Even in Turkey itself, they have a lot of business group. But when it comes to the literature, when you want to find out about the business group in Malaysia, you won't find anything, any information about business group in Malaysia. But in research done by Kani 2009, he mentioned that mostly 60% of Malaysian firms are affiliated with the business group. There's evidence, but there's not any proof. Evidence. We have like one evidence, but what is the business group in Malaysia? So my contribution is there. I found out the business group activities in Malaysia. So it's my contribution. Okay, so that's what my supervisor, during my first year, said novelty. What is the novelty of your study? I found out after 2 years, this is my novelty of my study. Okay, so in method, okay, you can, in method, you can, you have to look at the sampling, your respondents. Okay, there's a lot of things like you have to do, like from respondent, from population, you have to go to the respondent. For those who want to do case study, you can refer to the in 2009, 2008, okay, 2010, even in YAN, he's quite famous for the case study. Okay, I don't remember, there's a lot of references. Okay, later on I will share with Dr. Asma or Dr. Aslinda so that you can have a reference. Okay, okay, now what is the research gap? Okay, after we talk a lot, now this is the research gap. Okay, okay, what is the research gap? Okay, that's what I keep on highlighting, your contribution, not your contribution, your research contribution. Okay, your research contribution. As I explained to you before, my research contribute to the methodology, whereby I'm not using official statistic, and then I'm using quantitative, but through the database, and I'm using case study, which proved that we have business group in Malaysia, and using, in case study itself, I found out what the role of government, Malaysian government in assisting our firms who interested to go into international level. Okay, so this is like, I'm like adding new knowledge. Okay, in a practical way, I contribute something like for the managers, they should know about the business group. Okay, in the structure, how it's helped them to go for the, to access the information, so on. Okay, that's a practical. Okay, you can see when people writing down the discussion, there will be limitation, there will be like a managerial perspective, something like, there will be section by section. Okay, in theory, I proved that, I proved that, in my theory, I proved that merging markets is not using the Western theories, but they're using I proved that they're using the theory which is built by the scholars. We say that merging markets are something unique. They're using something, the springboard perspective, like the famous theory in my study. Okay, so I use the springboard perspective, and through my result, through my discussion, I found out most of the Malaysian companies, they're going for merger and acquisition. I think one of the biggest merger and acquisition we had is Proton and Geely. That's kind of a reflection of my research. Okay, Proton is automobile. Geely is one of the famous automobile in China. Okay, Proton, if you are aware about Proton, before they merge with Geely, even we don't want to look at Proton. But once they merge with Geely, we can see the design, the technology is improving. Okay, that's what we call strategy asset seeking. Okay, through the merger and acquisition, we get the technology, we got the design. Okay, so it's helped them to become better in a domestic market. Okay, that's the reflection of my case. My research. Okay, it means the firms, when you're going to seek for the strategy seeking, it's not something easy. Okay, if you have the technology, okay, you have the better technology, but I want to take the technology. Obviously, you won't give me everything. Okay, so there must be some understanding. There must be some MOU. That's what happened to Proton and Geely. Okay. So now Geely, they need to expand their market to the Indonesia, to the Australia. So Malaysia is a strategic place for them to explore the market at other countries near to the Malaysia. And Malaysia, especially Proton, we need technology, we need design. Okay, it's quite interesting. Okay, it's another my case study which I'm going to write another paper. Okay, related to my research study. Okay, so the theory which I proved that, you know, they're doing the merger acquisition means springboard perspective means they are not following process by process like as said by Uppsala. They are like go for the merger and acquisition, you go for the joint venture so that they can assess their knowledge, they can assess the technology, and they bring back to the country, to Malaysia, for Malaysian firms bring back to the Malaysia, and they compete with the other competitors in Malaysia. Okay, so that's what I proved. I mean, like, you know, I give evidence about the proof that the theory, the contribution. Okay, there's a research gap that I found in my study. Okay, so when I submit to my Viva, I'm kind of confident because I fulfill these three. Okay, I didn't bother too much about the practical because some of you, maybe you're working with industry, you want to give some solution for your industry. Okay, so you have to focus more on the practical, but my focus were on these two, theory and adding new knowledge. It could be theory, it could be something, okay, methodology. Okay, so I'm confident because I got some new knowledge for the IB literature, international business literature. Means I proved that in Malaysia, we have business group. I proved that, okay, business group doesn't matter, we are affiliated with business group or not, they're still doing the strategic SCK if they need to. This is what proven in case study. And then I proved that the theory, which is like argued by the one group, the scholar Narula, you know, Ramamurthy, Lo Entang, Matthew, it's true, where they said they're doing some rapid merger and acquisition joint venture because they want to access to the technology. And I proved that as well. Okay, so I'm quite confident when I'm sitting in front of the reviewer during the Viva. What is your novelty of the research? I just tell them this is my contribution. Pop. So I save. When I come to the novelty, I save. Okay, and same goes to the research proposal. Okay, so when research proposal, I'm going to say, I say that I'm going to test whether what they said by the scholar is true or not. Okay, by the academician. Okay, they said, okay, some group they said it's using the Western theories. Some group they're saying no, they have some new theories. So through my research, I'm going to test whether it's applicable or not. Okay, and the second, I'm going to see the existence of business group in Malaysia and their impacts on the strategy SCK. Okay, this is what research gap that I found through my literature review, you know, reading by literature reviews. Okay, okay, and this is my last slide before we end the session. Okay, this is really important. Okay, this is really important. Okay, references. I got, I would say I got scolded by reviewers because I'm very careless. I mentioned certain studies in literature review, but I didn't put it in the references. Okay, it looks like you're unprofessional. Okay, especially when you're calling yourself as a PhD. Sometimes it happen, you know, because a lot of studies. So you know, sometimes it happen because a lot of studies and we overlook certain studies. So my reviewer said, Mugi, you are PhD student. Okay, PhD student, remember that. Okay, when you put some certain studies in your thesis, in your chapters, but if you miss it in your references, it shows you are unprofessional. Okay, it's going to, you know, it's going to like affect your impression of the reviewers or the people who are reading your work. So be careful and be extra careful with your references, okay, with your references. If you mention it in your chapter 1 or chapter 2, whatever chapters, make sure you put it in your references column. Don't ever miss it. That's why we have a lot of apps now, right? Do we call apps like Mendeley, EndNote, okay? Go to the workshop, or you maybe if you can learn from YouTube. Okay, Mendeley, it's help you to arrange, okay, to arrange the citing, you know, the citing, you know, the references. Okay, The second one, grammar and sentences. Okay, when we are talking, okay, when we are speaking to others, when we are like speak to our friends, okay, we not bother too much about the grammar and sentences. But when come to the thesis, you must remember about the consist. Okay, this is like a main thing they are going to look at your research proposal. Okay, like at first paragraph, you were like discussing about research, you're talking about Malaysia. Suddenly at second paragraph, you're talking about Pakistan. And third, you're talking about India. So the readers quite confused what you're talking about. If you're going to talk about Malaysia, okay, Malaysia, then for my, like in my research, okay, I'm talking about Malaysia, outward foreign investment or FDI. And then I go down, I talk about the strategy seeking in Malaysia, and then I stop at the table. I say this is like, you know, this is the, what we call, this is the numbers, okay? This is the amount that I get it from the Department of Statistics, okay? So be careful with your grammar. If you know, maybe some of you will wait until Viva, okay, or some to do the proofread. But if you're able to give for the proofread before your proposal, it will be much better. But if you're not able, but just be, as I said, the tips, okay, give to your friends, give to your, you know, any your acquaintances, ask them to read. And then if they're good in English, ask them to read whether they can understand. And the grammar, you know, you can check, you know, we have a lot of now softwares like Ramely, okay, invest something on that, and then check your grammar, okay, and sentences, okay. And this is the important, as I say from the beginning, your research content should reflecting your topic. You say something, if you say home country effects and strategy as seeking, Malaysian MNEs Malaysian MNEs, so your research should be reflecting the topic. You're talking about, in the topic you say Malaysia, but in your research you're talking something about China, you're talking about Brazil, you're talking about India. So it's something like out of the topic. So you have to make sure, once you're done your thesis, once you're done your proposal, check back your topic, whether your content and your topic are relevant, okay? And important, your method and data analysis, as I said, in proposal defense, they will keep on asking you about your method and your data analysis, and you must be, if you put it like, let's say you're going to use SPSS, let's say you're going to use SPSS, you're going to use quantitative, okay? In SPSS, you're going to use hierarchical regression. You must have justification why you want to use this approach, okay? So always remember, when you're writing your proposal, when you're writing your research, when you're writing your thesis, okay, always keep on asking why I'm putting here, okay? You have to give the justification. That's really important. I'm so sorry, I'm so excited using the new technology. Okay, this is the first time I'm using this. Okay, so this is my last slide. So we open to question if we have any. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mugi.
Thank you.
So
I hope it's not that bored. So you not get bored with my, you know, I'm just keep talking for 2 hours. I think not 2 hours, like 1 hour and 45 minutes. Okay, I hope everyone is here. So any questions?
Yeah, feel free to drop the question in the chat section, or feel free to voice out your question here.
Or you maybe open your mic, you can ask me. Oh, thank you, Ali. That's meant so much for me. Enjoy your session.
Yeah. Any other questions from the floor?
There's one question from Miss Puwana in the chat box.
Okay, I can't see that. Puwana.
It's up there.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Hi, Doctor. Okay. I'm Pona. Currently, I'm master student at UM. Doctor can explain the different thematic analysis and content analysis. Thematic and content analysis. Okay. Thematic, if I think, okay, I can't say think, okay. Thematic, it's kind of like your grouping. It's like, systematic literature review, okay. You must be heard about the systematic literature review. Thematic, okay. One of the tips I want to give you all, before you read your literature review, okay, if you want to know what's going on with your research, look for the systematic literature review paper about your field. Okay, and also the thematic analysis. Thematic analysis, they will group every, researchers from every scholars, they will group as one paper, whereby they say they'll discuss about the patterns, about the trends. Okay, let's say I want to know about the outward foreign investment. Okay, there's a lot of papers. Okay, we could not able to find out everything. Okay, then I found out this one paper where it discussed about the patterns, trends, characteristic of outward foreign investment. Okay, under that paper, inside the paper, they will discuss, like, from Pakistan perspective, from India perspective, from Malaysia perspective, from China perspective, okay, what they have talked about outward foreign investment in China, okay. It's like a very brief ideas, okay, what is going on in your research, okay. That's what we call thematic analysis. Content analysis, I did this one paper, okay, but I don't know whether I can give very clear explanation. Content analysis means what I did. I got this one video. Okay, we did one program at our INASIS. Okay, they talk about the online learning challenges faced by students. Okay, perspective from Indonesia and Malaysia. Okay. So it's kind of like, I did like a narrative, okay? I analyze the content, what I come with the theme, and then based on the theme, I describe based on the video what they said about the issues. That's what I understand about content analysis. But I love to share with you if I found any sources to Puana, so that you can, you get much more better understanding about that. This is what I understand from my side. Okay, that's what I can justify. So thematic analysis, I can show that if you want to understand, try to find out your research in thematic analysis, or we call systematic literature review. Nowadays, people are quite familiar with the systematic literature review. They will discuss a lot of the, every possible researchers in one paper. So it will make you understand about the research. Is it clear, Puana? I hope I answer your questions. How to done with reliability, validity. Instead, to make use translation for the data will be thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry, Pona. When it comes to the qualitative, I don't have that much of knowledge, especially this triangulation. Okay, so I'll take note your questions. Please give me some time. Okay, then I'll get to you in Telegram, or okay, please drop your email here. Okay, so that I can email to you my answer, or maybe I can, I can link some readings materials for you to understand more better about that. Okay. I'm so sorry because I did my case study, but it's not that depth like qualitative people will do that. Okay, my mind is like it's like a very familiar to the case study. Yes, doctor, thank you. Thank you, doctor. Learn a few things today. Okay, I take note that, Puana.
Any other question from the floor?
Can you share how to get data from DOSM? You have to keep on email them. You have to keep on email them. Department of Statistics Malaysia. Yes, you have to keep on email them if you really need that. Okay, I can I think I keep on emailing them, you know, I want data, but fortunately at that time, they already released that, you know, published that data on outbound investment. So that some of that you have to pay for that. Okay, some of that I just let you. Some of that you have to pay for that. Some of that you can get it freely on their website. But you know, but if you're really in urgent, so better to contact the person. You know, they give the contact number there, so you just contact them, and they may ask you few, you know, few like fees, you know, to pay to get the data. Okay. Any question, guys? Today, okay, sure. I will share personally to you, and also I will share at Telegram. Okay, I will share Telegram. Okay, I will share with you. Sure. What I have, all the books that I use for my PhD, I will share with you. But I can't share the articles. But I will share some method articles which I think it can be used for you. Okay, okay. Please give me like 2-3 days, because I have like few interviews to go. So I think for today and tomorrow I'm not able to email all of that. So please give me 2-3 days. Okay, I just mentioned over here. Okay, don't complain to Dr. Asma or Dr. Aslinda. They say Dr. Mugi didn't give us any materials. Okay. If there any else, okay. Thank you. So, guys, we have another 10 minutes. Okay, if you want to ask something or you want me to share about my experience doing my PhD at Durham University, if you want to know the what do you call situation, the condition over there, I would say, like, you know, it's like a lifetime experience for me. If you want to know about that, you may ask questions.
Doctor, maybe you can share how to reach you.
Oh, how to reach me?
Yes.
Oh, you can. I'll give my email address here. Okay, I give you 2 email address. Okay, you may contact me either one. Okay, one is my my UK. Another one is my Gmail. So both are you can contact me.
Dr. Mugi, we have another question from Mr. Yusairi.
Yeah, Mr. Uzari. Yeah, Uzari. Okay, if we have a few research problems related to our study, is it possible we take only one problem to be settled? Yes, why not? So if you think that's the issues, if you think that's a problem that you need to address through your research, if you're able to give the justification, if you're able to measure that, you know, the variables which related to the issue, why not? Okay, I give this one example. My senior, now he's a doctor, Dr. Zinwei. He's at Beijing University. Okay, he just did his research on business group in China. Okay, at least I'm using 2 variables. He just used one variable, business group in China, and he looked at the impact on the okay, I'll answer that one. Okay, you know, he looked at the impact on the strategic asset seeking, but from Chinese perspective. Okay, so he found some issues about the business group in China. So he tried to identify that through his research. So if you think, that's why I say doesn't you know, it doesn't matter how many problems, how many issues that you find out. Okay, maybe through the reading you find out like 5 problems, 10 problems. Okay, you found out like 10 issues, maybe 20 issues, like, you know, lacking of all of these things. Okay, but you have to decide which one you want to look at and which is like really important for you to address for in a simple way. You want to finish your PhD. Okay, if you want to take all the 20 issues, I think even 10 years or even 20 years, you're not going to finish your PhD. Okay, so please be in your safe, you know, please be in your safe zone. Okay, you choose, like, you found out this one issues, and then you can justify and you can get data on that. Okay, and please go forward with one. So you don't think like, you know, okay, I have only one issue. Is it okay for me to do the research? If you found the one research, that's how you're going to contribute the new knowledge through that problem. That's what you have to look at it. So I think no issues with that. Okay, so don't make yourself like don't be so ambitious. Okay, it's good be ambitious, but be ambitious after your PhD. After you get your doctor, then you can look at 20 problems. You can look at 30 problems. You want to spend your whole life on the 50 issues, please go with that. Okay, Zari, I hope that's clear. Okay, we go for Farida. Hi, my unit of analysis is individuals or tourists, and my method is quantitative. How can I justify it? By reading? By reading. You have to read your literature. You have to read your literatures. You have to read a lot of articles. Okay, because I'm not from your field, so I don't know what's your topic. I don't know what's your what's your research focus. So, but here you ask your method is quantitative. You say your individual tourists. Okay, so back to my research. Okay, my unit of analysis which I want to look at is Malaysian MNEs. Okay, I want to look at the Malaysian MNEs, and specifically I want to look at their strategy assessing. And then when it comes to the data collection, I'm using database, quantitative, I'm using the secondary data. Okay, sorry, I'm using the database, I'm using the primary data, and then I'm using the case study. So I'm using the mixed method. Why? I explain, okay? As I said, explain to you, okay? The round-tripping investment, okay? Based on the study, they found out all those things. That's why I say you have to read, not only to find out the research gap, to give the justification, okay? So when my reviewer asked me how you're going to measure your role of government, I found out from my readings, okay? I read so many articles, I snowball the articles, okay? Then I found out this one article, they measure the role of government based on this, okay? So Farida, is it okay? So you have to read. You have, I'm so sorry, I can't help this how to read, but you have to read your articles related to your research. Okay, Farida? Okay, any questions? Okay, but don't worry, okay? I will give as much as reading materials, through Telegram, or maybe if you give my email address, those are giving to me emails, I will email to you as well, so that you can, okay, you can read and understand more better, okay? Okay, we got 2 questions here. Uzari, if we found related issues from SLR, do we write it in our thesis without any changes in output? No, brother. Anything you found in the research, you have to paraphrase it. Otherwise, you're going to face plagiarism. Okay. If you found out the issue, okay, you have to construct your own words, and then you cite it. Okay. In this study, they have mentioned, this lacking of the studies like this. Okay. Then you cite it. Okay. Support. You justify. Okay. Okay. For example, okay, my research. Okay. I'm talking about business group in Malaysia. Okay. In 2013, there's one paper which discussed about business group in India, which is looking at the outward foreign direct investment, its impact on the outward foreign direct investment, okay, only on outward foreign direct investment. Okay, they found out, okay, the business group, size of business group, the structure of business group, it's playing its roles on the outward foreign direct investment in Indian companies, okay. So it's a paper in 2013, okay? I can take his idea, I rephrase his idea, I said, cari 2013, okay, explore about the business group in India, Indian companies, and found out that the size and the structure play its roles in outward foreign investment. However, that's why it's important, however, therefore, hence, those are like a relate. Like we call, like, that's how to show how you criticize, how critical you are, like, comparing the studies, okay? However, the studies overlook on the issues such as strategy seeking. Therefore, this study is going to look into business group and its impact on the strategy seeking from Malaysian perspective, okay? It doesn't mean like, you know, I found out the evidence in Chari's paper, but I didn't take the whole and put in my thesis. I said Chari did the same research, but he overlooked that thing. Okay, they overlook certain things. That's what I'm going to look in my thesis. And that's what I'm going to prove throughout my thesis. Okay, and same goes in us, like you asked from SLR. When you found out the studies, they said, okay, there's a studies in 2021, 2020, 2019, let's say 2015. They found out these articles discussed about this. Those are, you're taking that ideas and then you are going to do the critical thinking in your literature review. Okay, the studies address this. Okay, these studies address this. However, they overlook certain issues. Therefore, my studies is going to look at that. If you take it everything, okay, you may quote that. You may quote, okay? There's a difference between cite and quote, okay? If you quote, you can take 100% and then you can quote them and you put their name, okay? It could help you to escape from the plagiarism. However, if you didn't quote, you cited like 100%, okay? As like if he said, let's say he said, government facilitated, you say government facilitated, it's going to end you in the plagiarism issue. So you have to be very careful, okay? So when come to the research, you may take people, literature review is kind of like, you know, you are reviewing some previous literature, okay? The studies already done, and then you're reviewing again, and then you come up with a new idea, which is you think is needed for this research, okay? So please don't do that mistake, okay? Even though you found out studies in thematic analysis, okay, you found like exactly the research like exactly explaining what you're going to do. Please rephrase and then, rephrase and then do some critical analysis in your literature review. It's a very important element in your literature review, okay? Okay, is it okay? Is it okay, Zairi? You got it?
Okay, okay, Rita. Okay, clear.
Okay. Please, when we are doing PhD, reviewer will be very kind of like meticulous about the plagiarism. Okay, and especially in the research, we have to very careful. Okay, careful in our plagiarism because sometimes we intended to do so, but you know, sometimes we end up, okay, because we are like that, you know, because we copy and paste and we tendency to follow that is, you know, 100% of that. Okay, we go to the next question. For novelty in PhD, is it must we develop something such as instrument, model? Wow, if you can, okay. But for me, I think if you ask me why you need to come out, you know, it's already named, it's research. It means you research, okay? You may found something, okay? In 2 years, people may found something. That's why they keep on doing research. We all have done, you know, like some scholars already done a lot of research there. So if you want to develop something, congrats, sister. Okay, I'm happy for that. But for PhD, I think we just research. Okay. So please follow that research. Okay, scholar A already say something, and then you research. You come up with something, and then person C come out again, they do research, and then they come up with something, and the person D come again, they research, they found something. That's how the process is going on, okay? So that's not necessary for you to build something new, but if you're able, yeah, it's depend on your supervisor and yourself, okay? I don't have no comment on that, okay? Doctor, if there's a studies on certain topics on other countries, however, mention none. Can we say that? Yes, that's a novelty. If you sure can say that there's no studies in Malaysia, you can prove that by justification. You can say that this is the table. This is a study from year 2000 or year 1980, the moment the research emerged. And then from there, from right then till right now, there's no study been done on the Malaysian context. If you can prove that, if you can just justify that, yes, that's a novelty. It means you're giving some studies, your new knowledge for the novel, your new knowledge on Malaysia. As like my business group, okay, when I read Kani 2009, he mentioned that 60% of the 60% of the Malaysian firms affiliated with business group. But when we read the articles, I couldn't find any business group in Malaysia. Research will talk about business group in Malaysia. So that's why my contribution, I say, I found out that the existence of business group in Malaysia, and they're impacting and not impacting the strategy access seeking. Okay, that's a novelty. Okay, novelty not something like, you know, you have to find something, you have to find the dinosaur eggs. Okay, something is not found by someone. They already found, they said, okay, there's a dinosaur eggs at Penang. Okay, they say there's something in Penang. Okay, but you want to prove that? No, we have same thing in Johor. Okay, so you show the evidence. So that's a novelty. You get it? So when you found some certain studies, it's already done in Malaysia, in certain countries, but it's not yet done, and you can justify that yes, that's a novelty of your study. But you have to justify. Whatever you mention in your thesis, whatever you mention in your research proposal, doesn't matter methodology or your research gap, there must be some justification. That must be your answer why. Okay, and how. Okay, what. Okay, you keep on saying to, you know, when you're reading the paper, you have to answer this. If you're able to answer these questions, that means you are on the right track. Okay, I remember when my supervisor asked me, if you meet a stranger, you have to explain your research to that stranger within 2 minutes. Can you explain in 2 minutes? The day when you can do so, it means you understand your research. Okay, so those who are here, if you can explain your research to your mom, to your dad, to your brother, or to your friends who are not doing research, within 2 minutes they can understand what you're doing, then you understand well about your research. That's my tips. Because the moment my supervisor asked me, I remember it's like very stressful, Mimi, and then I keep on saying to me, I must able to say my research within 2 minutes. So I practice a lot, you know, I go for the conference, I go for the doctoral society, you know, I keep on practice until when people ask me, what is your research? Oh, I'm going to look at the business group and role of government. You know, business group is a network. So this network help the companies to go to the international level. So how the government of the country, you know, is helping the firms to go to the international level. So what is the strategy access seeking? It's a technology, the brand, which we get in the developed country, they bring back to the Malaysia. So they're using to compete with the competitors. That's why they have become a top and giant company in Malaysia. So people are, okay, this is what you're going to do. So when you listen to that, okay, within 2 minutes, you can explain your research. Means you really understand your research. Okay. So before you go for the defense, make sure that you can answer all those questions. Okay. Then you can go to the confident lah. You go and defend your proposal. Okay. If your reviewer said, okay, it could be like this way, please don't be so defensive. Okay. Just say, okay, thank you, doctor. Thank you, prof. I overlooked these certain things which you highlighted just now, and I will discuss with my supervisor and come up with a better paper in the future, better work in future. And thank you very much for highlighting that things. Don't be defensive. Sometimes we think we know better than reviewers, but we don't know. Reviewers know better than us. Okay, that's what I will do. Those who are going for the research proposal next month or around the corner. Okay. Yeah, this is your research. You know all your research. Okay, you know research. You know about the studies related to your research. You know your gaps, what your contribution, what's your novelty. You got the justification which studies be done. Okay, but please bear in your mind, be open-minded. When your reviewer say something, just say in a nicer way. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much, Doctor. I overlooked this thing. Okay, thank you for highlighting this. I will discuss with my supervisor. And to make to make the situation more harmony, okay, I give you another tips. If you possible, just make it like 1 page of summary, what you've done in your research proposal. Okay, what you want to look at your research proposal, what the summary that research proposal that you have done. Okay, in this research, I'm the study, this research, I'm going to look this. Okay, my research gap is this. My contribution, research gap is this. Therefore, I think this study is going to give more understanding about the certain issues. Okay, so when reviewer look at that, Okay, they must be happy. They say, okay, this person is really serious about the research, so they will help you. Okay, if you're giving like 80 pages, 100 pages, give to them, so they must be, just imagine yourself in your reviewer state. Okay, are you going to ready to read all the 100 pages, 150 pages? They don't have that much time because they are professor, they are doctor, they have a lot of things done to do a part of that reviewing things. Okay, so please come up with the summary or make it a table to make sure they can understand, clearly understand. Okay, what Fauzi kan? Halimatus, Sadia want to do this. Yuzari want to do this. Okay, Dawamani want to do this. Pona want to do this. Okay, Oshin want to do this. Okay, by looking at that, they can understand. So then, if they have some reservation, if they have some suggestions, accept it and discuss with your supervisor. Because as I said, end of the day, until up to your Viva, your supervisor will guide you. Okay, because they know better about your field and they know about your research. Okay, and you must be prepared on your side as well. You must know better. If your supervisor know 90%, you should know 100%. And don't be defensive with your supervisor or with your reviewers. Please bear in that mind. Okay, PhD is all about learning process. Okay, it's not something like, okay, I've done this, so okay, I say this is going to be the right one. No, there's no such thing like that in PhD or in master or in research at all. Okay, you could be say it's A, I could be say it's B, or maybe the other person could be say C. Okay, it's depend. End of the day, everything is based on your justifications and also your contribution, the research gap. Okay, just think about the research gap. Okay, what I'm going to contribute through my research. That's it. Okay, I hope I answer that. Okay, Auzani Zeda, I hope you answer that.
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so sorry. I just finished my PhD, so maybe I'm not the expert, but whatever I shared here, it's all based on my experience. Okay, it's like a real case study. Okay, I'm a real case study. Okay, what I went through, my proposal defense at that university, my second year review. Okay, my third year review. Honestly speaking, until I go for my Viva, I still was wondering what is my contribution. Okay, so it's all like your practice your writing. You go for conference. Okay, please don't think too much about money. Okay, just look at a very simple conference. Okay, go and talk in front of the people. Okay, just go and share. That's how it's going to build your confidence. Okay, and as I said, try yourself. If you can explain your research within 2 minutes and you can make people understand about your research within 2 minutes, you are superb in your research. That is like your tips for you. Okay, so like when your friends come, hey, what do you do your research? You can answer them within 2 minutes. Like, this is my research. What's so biggie thing about my research? Okay, if you can answer that, practice until you can talk like that. Okay, go for the conference. Okay, go and every university they have the doctoral society. Go and present. Don't worry about right or wrong. There's no right and wrong. Everything is okay. Okay, as long as you are confident and you can justify. Remember that you can justify. That is okay. Okay, and please don't be so defensive. That's it. Open your heart, open your mind, ready to receive everything. Okay, receive, and you produce. Receive, and you produce. That's how researchers behave. Okay, so I hope. Okay, I hope all of you success, and then maybe within 2-3 years or 4 years. Okay, and please don't race. PhD not something to race. Okay, some people can finish in 2 years. Some people can finish 1 year. Some people, like, they say they GOT, graduate on time. Some people say it's 4 years. Okay, don't think too much. Okay, keep on track, do your work, and success is there. Okay, so everyone is going to be doctor one day. It's just matter of time. Just go, keep going, and please go for conferences, go for workshops, invest something, because what you invest today is going to be valuable for you in the future. That's what I'm going to say, because I have attended a lot of workshops. We don't know it's going to useful for us that time, but one day it's going to be useful for us, okay? Even though I don't understand, I will go for the workshop, I go and learn, okay? I keep all the materials with me, and when I need it, then I go and read it. So now when I'm doing my paper, when I'm writing down my paper, when writing down my research paper, I need something, then I go for my previous materials, and I found out maybe I can find something. Okay, so keep on, keep going, keep learning. The process is like that. Just go with that. Please don't lose your hope. Just go and go, keep on going, and reach your success. Okay. So in 2-3 years, I will see Dr. Puana, Dr. Usairi, Dr. Waibili, Dr. Oshin, okay? All doctor, okay? Amin. We just amin all.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mugi. Okay, I think we're just having such a good explanation from Dr. Mugi, and I hope